You wake up outside. No blanket, no jacket, no roof. Just skin, wind, and a body that looks weirdly unfinished compared to almost every other mammal. A wolf gets fur, a bear gets fur. Even a squirrel gets better winter gear than you. So why did humans lose theirs? Let's start with the weird part. You didn't lose your hair follicles. You still have millions of them. Your body is covered in hair-making machinery, but most of it makes tiny, thin hairs instead of a real coat. Evolution turned the volume down. Because fur is not decoration, fur is insulation. It keeps cold out, blocks scratches, shields skin from sun, and gives parasites a nice little apartment complex. So losing it should have been dangerous. A naked mammal in open country has problems. Sun hits the skin directly. Wind steals heat at night. Thorns cut deeper. Biting insects get better access. Your ancestors did it anyway. In 1984, fossil hunter Kamoya Kimyu was working near Narioko Tome, west of Lake Turkana in Kenya, when he spotted a piece of skull. The excavation uncovered KNMWT 15,000, better known as Turkana Boy. He lived about 1.6 million years ago. He was probably 8 or 9 when he died, already about 5'3", with long legs and a body much more like ours than like an ape's. Not modern, but close enough that the outline feels uncomfortable, a child built for heat. Turkana Boy doesn't preserve skin. Fossils almost never do. But his body belongs to the world where the first story starts making sense. Hot open landscapes, long walking, long running, and a brain that really does not like overheating. Your brain is needy. It burns a lot of energy, and it works inside a narrow temperature range. Let it get too hot, and the system fails. Confusion, collapse, death. Most furry mammals avoid this by staying sensible. They rest in heat. They pant. They move at cooler times. They sprint briefly, then stop. Humans became the animal that keeps going. In 1984, Peter Wheeler argued in the Journal of Human Evolution that upright walking changed the heat math. A standing body catches less overhead sun than a four-legged body, and it rises into slightly cooler air. Bipedalism didn't magically remove fur, but it made a less furry body less insane. Then sweat changed everything. Sweat is basically a built-in sprinkler system. When water evaporates from your skin, it carries heat away, but fur gets in the way. A thick coat traps moisture and blocks airflow. Great for warmth, terrible for cooling. So the trade was brutal and elegant. Lose the coat, expose the skin, sweat everywhere. Not because naked skin was comfortable, because it was powerful. A horse can run faster than you. An antelope can sprint away from you. A lion looks like evolution got extra funding, but many animals dump heat poorly while running, especially under a high sun. Then the miles start. In 2004, Dennis Bramble and Daniel Lieberman argued in Nature that endurance running shaped the genus Homo around 2 million years ago. Long legs, springy tendons, neck muscles, and serious sweating all point toward one disturbing idea. Humans weren't built to win the sprint. We were built to not stop. Imagine the ancient version of that. A hot day. A wounded animal ahead. A small group behind it walking, jogging, tracking, sweating. The animal runs, overheats, rests. The humans arrive again. It runs again. They arrive again. No claws, no fangs, no fur coat, just patience with legs. This doesn't mean every meal came from persistence hunting. Evolution is messier than one neat trick. But if survival depends on dumping heat for hours, a coat is not protection anymore. It is a blanket in a furnace. But once the fur thinned, sunlight hit living skin. That meant the body needed a new shield. In 2004, Alan Rogers, David Iltis, and Stephen Wooding studied variation in the MC1R gene, which affects pigmentation. Their work suggested that strong selection for dark protective skin was already in place by roughly 1.2 million years ago, after our ancestors had lost most functional body hair. So the body made a swap. Fur out, melanin in. Dark skin helped protect folate, a vitamin important for healthy development, from ultraviolet radiation. Later, as humans moved into places with weaker sunlight, skin color changed again, because now vitamin D mattered more. That part is important. Skin color is not a ladder. It is not a ranking. It is a map of sunlight, migration, and survival. The body kept editing itself because the sky kept changing, which is a lot of work for an animal that could have just stayed furry. Then came the parasite theory. In 2003, Mark Pagel and Walter Bodmer argued that losing body hair may also have reduced ectoparasites, ticks, fleas, lice, and other tiny freeloaders that love warm fur. Less fur means fewer hiding places. Fewer hiding places means fewer bites. A social life matters. If your species survives through groups, grooming, sharing food, and sleeping near each other, parasites are not just itchy, they are a network problem. One body becomes many bodies. One infestation becomes everyone's evening. So hairlessness may have helped with heat and with pests, but it created a ridiculous sequel: clothes. Because once humans became exposed, skinned endurance machines, they still had to deal with cold, and rain, and wind, and migration into places where the weather looks at naked skin and takes it personally. This is where the lice become witnesses. In 2011, David Reed and colleagues used DNA from clothing lice to estimate when those lice split from head lice. Their answer, at least 83,000 years ago, and possibly as early as 170,000 years ago, clothing lice need clothing to live. So they tell us when regular body covering became part of human life. That means clothes were not the original solution. They were the patch. First, the body lost the coat, then skin became a cooling surface, then pigmentation became sunscreen. Then culture stepped in and made portable fur. A jacket is not normal. It is an artificial mammal coat with pockets, and that is the real answer. Humans lost their fur because our ancestors were becoming a different kind of animal. Upright, sweaty, social, long distance, heat dumping, and eventually clever enough to replace biology with stuff. The fur didn't vanish because we were weak. It vanished because we were betting on sweat, movement, skin, and each other. But the strangest part is what happened afterward. You now live inside layers of replacement fur. Cotton, polyester, heated rooms, weather apps, waterproof jackets. You don't feel naked because civilization is touching you all the time. So when you look at your arm and see that useless little fuzz, you're looking at the scar of an ancient trade. Your ancestors gave up the coat, and somehow you inherited the world.